back all. I'm Eric, and this is Behind the Eye of Odin. This time we're going to talk about Manaz. Manaz can be an extraordinarily complicated rune. Now the reason I say this is because it covers lots of different points, all having to do with the self. Now, to start off, Manaz is the self. It is man. It is a man. It's mankind. Now, we're going to get into some more points about that, but you just need to understand that first it's man, and second it's kind of society. So with the self, it can just be talking about that you need to find yourself. You need to be comfortable with yourself. You need to be okay with the fact that you're not like everybody else. I'm not like everybody else. You might be similar to them, but you're not them. Even twins are different. Now, when you're talking about finding yourself or being comfortable with yourself, that doesn't necessarily have to apply to your entire life. That's an extraordinarily difficult thing to do, and everyone's going to find places where they're not comfortable with themselves, and that they're overly confident with themselves. Now, that can be anything between your spiritual life or your social life or your school or work or home, family, romantic relationship. I know lots of people out there who are comfortable in new dating situations, but then when it comes to their parents and their family, they feel completely alienated. They have no idea what to do with it. So that's just an example of how Manaz can tell you that you need to be comfortable with the self. It's usually when it talks about that, if that's what comes up in the feeling while you're doing a reading, Manaz, if it's telling you that you need to be comfortable with yourself, it's going to deal directly with the situation at hand and with whatever the person is asking about. Now, it can also be talking about society. Now, when it comes up as a societal thing, it's usually talking about the society that you deal with specifically, okay, or the person asking the question, rather, in a reading. It has to do with your place in your surroundings, your society. If you don't know where you fit in, it might be telling you that you need to figure out where you fit in, or you need to change where you are and the group of people you hang out with because you don't fit in with the ones that you're trying to fit in with now. Another thing that it can have to deal with when it comes to society, Manaz can tell you that you're trying too hard to not be yourself because of society. Now, there's lots of points that intermingle here, and the position of Manaz both in the reading and the surrounding runes are going to give you a better definition of that. Now, an example of that would be, for example, if Manaz was sitting next to Uruz. Uruz is all about strength and stability and health. If it seems like they're playing together in a good way, and you're getting a positive feeling off of it, then you're pretty comfortable with who you are, maybe even in general. But if they come together and they're surrounded, the rest of the surrounding runes are all negative feeling, and you're getting kind of a bad, this is sort of a negative, neutral to negative reading, then Manaz is telling you that either you don't have a stable societal group, or you don't have a caring, supportive environment around you, and you need to seek that out, or something along those lines. But Manaz can be very, very confusing as to the idea of what are you trying to tell me? What am I going to use, or what information is useful out of this, and how do I narrow it down? So that's a lot about Manaz, especially in a reading. When you're using Manaz in rune magic or for any sort of energy work, one of the things that you can do for Manaz is put it out there with, say, Ansuz, which is the communication rune. It's the rune of the mouth. So if we've been over it. If you put Manaz and Ansuz together, you can make a bind rune out of it. You can just put them both down on a piece of paper and carrying them around in your pocket. What you would use this for is to help you gain more information about yourself. Okay, you look inwardly, and you could use Elwaz in that same bind rune or whatnot. But you use Manaz, the self, communication, and some sort of motivation to help you look inwardly and figure out what you actually want for yourself. If you have any questions, comments, whatever, feel free to leave video responses or comments, or, by all means rate, respond, whatnot. But until next time, thank you for watching, and Odin be with you.
Is for